I don't really know where this conversation is going to go. I'm just going to talk and just see what I share because I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. You know, all our lives we're told that we're not supposed to talk about certain things, oh, we can't talk about our finances. We can't talk about when we're going through something. We can't talk about when we're going through that. And I've gotten to the point in my life where if I died today, I would rather for people to know who I was coming from the horse's mouth and what I've been through and how I feel and how I'm truly doing. Instead of people having assumptions or creating rumors about me, I would rather just tell people the truth myself. I'm self-aware enough to know that no matter what I share, there could be consequences to it. Just like anything in life, there's either a consequence or a reward. And I just feel like I'm ready to just be honest about a lot of things. This year, 2025, has been a horrific year for all of us. So many different things have taken place, and we're just in April now. And I feel like for me personally, this has been probably one of the roughest years. I haven't felt like this in a couple of years. And I was very thankful at that time that I felt comfortable enough to reach out to certain people because of what I was going through at that time. This was back towards the end of 2023. I was experiencing a lot at one time, and I didn't know what to do. And all I thought to do was one particular thing, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But what I want people to really understand is that I have been extremely isolated. Not because anyone has made me feel some type of way in my family. I really feel like it's been God isolating me. And I talk to God all the time. Like I talk to him all day. And it's weird because if you could be a fly on the wall to see me just like walking through the house, I'll just be talking. And I'm talking to God all day. That's how much I keep him in my spirit. That God is always with me. I'm constantly praying. I pray as I walk out the door. I pray when I come back home. I pray over my food. I pray over my family. I pray over my friends. I pray for everyone. I pray every time I do something that, could put me in harm's way. I'm thanking God all the time. And you would probably think that, there was something wrong with me because I literally will have conversations with God. And I do it throughout the day. I'm in the car and I'll literally be just talking to God on my way to my next destination. But right now I feel like I'm in a very, very difficult point in my life. This year, I lost both of my jobs. Ironically, around the same time in the same month. And I have been doing everything possible to find something else to do. I really want to get out of my current job field that I've been in for 13 years because I actually have a college degree. I have a bachelor's degree in communications. Um the thing with that though is I feel like I'm starting to have a lot of regrets about what I went to school for because I feel like my degree is not as useful as it should be. But I think a lot of people are at that moment in their lives where no matter what they've went to school for, if it's not something like education or nursing or criminal justice, it seems like your degree is not really working for you, it's working against you. And I know a lot of people that are like that have degrees, got multiple degrees, and are caregivers. They're doing things that they could have done without having to have a degree. And that's the predicament I've been in for a long time. I graduated in 2017 and did hundreds of job applications and resumes. And the only places that were willing to give me a chance were caregiving companies. Ironically, I was already in the field, so it was just easy to just jump back into it for my next job opportunity. Right now, I've been putting in job applications for everything underneath the sun. Even to go back into caregiving, even though I really want to do something more. Helping people is great. I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else, like another way to help other people in a different way. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm confusing or I'm all over the place. It's just that I just have a lot on my mind right now. But I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm supposed to be elevating to another level in my life. I'm supposed to be building, new skills. I'm supposed to be trying to find something that gives me benefits, actually like gives me raises, bonuses, some type of incentive to go to work, but accept a paycheck. And I am stuck between a really hard place, a rock in a really hard place right now. Because I can't even find a caregiving job. I've literally been playing a game just to keep my sanity. I count how many rejection letters I get in one day. I think the most I've received in one day was 8. 8 rejection letters. So at least I'm getting responses, right? But it's just weird because my mom fought for my education when I was younger. I believe when I was in fourth or fifth grade, they put me in special education classes. They were just saying that I didn't want to do my work and that I just wasn't smart enough to keep up with the rest of the kids. Um, that wasn't the case. It's just that I was bored, and by the time they actually figured out that I was bored, I had actually got behind on reading and writing and math and all the other subjects that mattered. So my mom had got me a private tutor. And I went to a private tutor, I believe it was the rest of my 5th and 6th grade year. And I finally got on an honor roll in 6th grade. And my mom had got me, it was a test that I had to take to get me out of that special education class, and I aced it. But the problem was the problem was is that I was not being challenged enough in school. But like I said, by the time they figured it out, I was getting behind. So, but when I was in sixth grade, I was reading at a 12th grade level, I believe, because I went from reading at like a second grade level to like a 12th grade level, like I believe the end of fifth grade to the beginning of sixth grade. But my mom fought for my education for years. My mom was the most active person in my life when it came to my education. I owed my mom that college degree because of what she had did for me throughout my life. And I owed it to myself because my mom wanted me not to have to work as hard as she had to, because most of my life, my mom worked 2 to 3 jobs, to just take care of me and her. She only had one child, but she was working up to 3 jobs at one time. My mom didn't stop working. She didn't slow down until she got sick. If she was here to tell you, she would tell you that she believes that her overworking herself caused her to become disabled, because my mom wasn't really taking care of herself. My mom wasn't really sleeping. She was working day and night and day. My mom had became a workaholic. She just had got used to working 7 days a week. A lot of times 16-hour shifts. My mom just allowed work to consume her. And my mom wanted better for me. She wanted me to go to college, get a really good job, great benefits, and only have to work one job and don't have to overwork myself on that one job. And the irony is that I have a college degree. I'm in $50,000 worth of debt. I'm still in the same job field as when I was going through school. And I can't even get another job within the same field that I've been working all this time, right now, currently. I felt like I had an emotional breakdown a couple of nights ago. And my mind went to a really dark place. Not what you're thinking, but it went to the darkest corners of my mind and just started pulling out every choice I've ever made, every mistake I've ever made, every regret I've ever had, every piece of grief that I thought that I'd healed. Everything just started coming back up to the surface in my mind. And I know it had to be the devil. It had to be the devil, really just trying to, get me to feel horrible, because I just felt like a complete failure. This was a couple nights ago. I just had came to the conclusion that I was a complete failure as an adult. I didn't go to school for the right study. I didn't listen. I always listened to my mom when it came to like certain things in my personal life. The way my mom died, still dealing with the aftermath of that almost 4 years later. I just felt so overwhelmed. I don't feel that overwhelmed as I did a couple of nights ago, but I felt so overwhelmed. I was just like, all I keep thinking about is the fact that I don't have no job. I'm one of those types of people that have a savings account with no savings. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are just like me. You have a savings account, no savings. You lose your job and you have nothing to fall back on. And all I kept thinking about was that I didn't want to lose the blessings that my mom had worked so hard to pass down to me that she received from God. You know, this house is like a mansion to me. And my mom spent 19 years before she passed trying to pay it off for me, because she was always telling me it was my house. She would tell people in my family this was my house. She had got this, she was going to pay this house off for her daughter to have. Because my mom always wanted to make sure I had somewhere to go. A lot of parents can't leave their children with nothing. Money, a house, a car, nothing, because times have really truly gotten hard. And my mom was able to bless me with the house. Now I'm still paying the mortgage. I'm still paying the mortgage. I still have about 7 more years on the mortgage, and that's how I know that things are like I'm being tested, and things are really pulling against me right now, because I'm almost at the finish line, and things are the mortgage has even increased since my mom has passed. Like significantly, like twice as much for the mortgage now. So I know I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed and highly favored. But a couple of nights ago, all I kept thinking about was I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to be homeless. I love living in this home. I love having my own place to myself. I am so blessed. At 34 years old, half of my brain is telling me I'm a failure as an adult, because I lost both my jobs and didn't have anything monetarily to fall back on. I I have been feeling like a failure because I have not been able to stay stable. I've been wanting to transition out of my current field for the longest time. But nobody, no companies, no one is giving anyone a chance. Like, nobody is getting job offers. No one's even getting an interview. But we're getting plenty of rejection letters. There's just tons and tons of rejection letters. Can't even say it right now because I'm starting to get frustrated again. And I try to always see everything with positive eyes. You know, rejection is my protection. You know, that job wasn't meant for me. You know, the right job is gonna come along at the right time, and blah 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 blah. But I'm in crunch time right now. I am in serious crunch time because it's a new month. I have bills, and I honestly don't know what to do. I've been doing, deliveries, Amazon Flex, but Amazon Flex has not been consistent. I really thought it would be, but it's tax season. So supposedly, during tax season, it's like a hit and miss. You might get a shift here, and then 3 days later, it's a shift there, and that's basically how it's been. But I went to do Amazon Flex earlier today, and when I got there, they do the whole routine. You go in, they scan your ID, you drive into whatever little section they want you to be in to get your packages. And there was a girl in front of me. I drive an SUV and she just drives like a regular car. And she was telling one of the men that worked there that she felt like she didn't have enough room in her car to be able to take all these packages, because she had like some humongous boxes. Like I had like several little small packages and maybe like 3 or 4 big boxes, but I knew how to like maneuver them into my car to make it work. But with this young lady, she was like, I have all these big boxes. I don't know where to put them in my car. I don't have like that extra room like these other people have that are driving like the trucks or the SUVs. And the man basically told her, like, if you cannot put everything in there, you're going to have to forfeit your shift. And she screamed out, but I need money. She actually screamed it out. And everyone looked towards her. And that's how I feel inside my mind, that I'm constantly praying and I have faith. I have more than the faith of a mustard seed. But something in the back of my mind keeps screaming, Tiffany, you need money. Now, this is a conversation, you grow up and people tell you, it's not no one's business about your financial affairs. And, that's something you keep to yourself. You always just, I guess, almost just always have to feel like you have to act like you got it like that. And the reality is that I'm tired of lying to myself, lying to my family, lying to my friends. I'm not okay. Not by a long shot. I'm not okay. In a lot of ways. I'm not okay. And the fact that I don't have anything to lean on. I have no job, lost both jobs. I feel like my worst nightmare, or at least the second nightmare of my life, is going to take place. Because again, it's a new month. Bills are still coming in. And I don't know how I'm going to keep up with the demand of the bills, my necessities. My mortgage, my utilities, my car note, my car insurance. I'm trying to figure out what's all my options, because I've been applying for so many jobs every day. I have a friend of mine that, I've been sending her different resumes to look at, and she'll tell me like, use this and use that, and we piece it together and we send it off, and we've been doing that, and she's just been in the trenches with me, with God, of course, as head of my life. But she's been in the trenches with me trying to help me find a job, and it's just one rejection letter after another, after another, after another. I feel like my mom wouldn't be proud of me, because I don't want the unthinkable to happen. And for all the time, all the sacrifice, my mom getting sick to take care of me, and to to pay this house, like, not trying to pay it off, but to take all that time to make my life easier in whatever ways that she could. and I could possibly lose it all. And I know that houses and cars are materialistic things. They're not actually ours. We're born them. They're all things that God bless us to have. We can't take them with us in the next lifetime, but it sure makes us comfortable in this one. But I just remember when I had graduated college back in 2017, and I had told my mom, I was like, I don't want to be a regular homeowner. And my mom was like, well, do you want to, just live in an apartment? I said, no, I want to be like a homeowner, but just not a regular homeowner. I want to live in a tiny home. I want to be part of like a tiny home community, and I want to like know all my neighbors and just this, be part of like this actual community of people that like we lean on each other. We may have like little get-togethers at our tiny homes from time to time, and I was like, Mom, I want a simple life. I don't want to have to work super hard for something that's way too big for me. I don't want to be a person that has, multiple cars and it's only me. I don't want this super lavish life. Like I want a simple life because I want to eventually get to the point where I can help other people and I can travel, and I don't want to be weighed down with like the burden of like having to maintain a big house, or even like a smaller house, but it's still like not a tiny home. Like I told my mom I just wanted a simple life because I knew that would make me happy. And my mom would always tell me that all she ever wanted from me was for me to be happy and stress free. And she told me that she would do whatever she could to get me into a tiny home because she felt in her heart that would really make me happy. My mom was sending me tiny homes left and right. We was looking on Instagram and Pinterest and all this because my mom wanted me to get one that was like made from the ground up. We could get it personalized, customized, or whatever. And I really still want that life for myself. Is it strange to just want to have a simple life? Is it strange to not want to be like just overworked and trying to achieve some type of success that may not be attainable for everybody? And I'm not saying that success is unattainable for everybody. I think it's everyone should have their own version of success. It shouldn't be that success means that when I retire, I'll have $1 million in my 401k, or I have $1 million in my savings account. Why can't success be simply that we're able to have our own business or work from home? We might still have to work for somebody, but we're working from home. We have a small little living quarter where we're not having to constantly put so much work into cleaning it and maintaining it, because I am so overwhelmed. My next door neighbor my next door neighbor um had came and knocked on my door and had told me, that the fence, her side of the fence had fell down. Ironically, my other side, well, my side of the fence, part of it fell down. But anyways, her whole, like, all the way around, all three sides of her fence fell down. We had this really bad windstorm, dust storm, whatever you want to call it. And she came knocking on the door and she was like, will it be okay if, like, I can get, like, the people that come and do the fences, like, they may be in your backyard, we, be okay with it? And I was like, sure, whatever. I wish, I pray to be that blessed where I can get things of that matter done, like, in a quickness. Because my fence has been falling every summer since my mom passed almost 4 years ago. And I had been telling a couple of my cousins, I was like, I don't have the money to get a brand new fence. I'm just gonna have to keep, keeping it, just kind of pent up and pray it doesn't blow down the next time we have, 80-mile winds or whatever. But every time we have these 80-mile winds, the fence falls down and I have to go back up, out there and put it back up and just pray that I can get through another, year. I worry about the major expenses of having, like, just a average size home. Eventually I'll have to get a new roof. There's so many other things I don't even want to even say because you just don't want to speak too many things into existence. That's when things start happening, when you start thinking about all this stuff that you shouldn't even be stressed out about until it comes. And then when it comes, you really can't stress about it because you just got to just get through it. Like, and it's okay if you have to delay certain things, but it just sucks because, like, I don't have the funds to be able to, like, even get my teeth cleaned, get my teeth fixed. I miss the full smile that I used to have. Um, it's just so many different things that I'm not able to do because I'm living in a world currently where bills go up every month, food goes up every day, gas go up every second, and my wages haven't went up in I don't know how long. I've been in the caregiver field for, like, the last 13 years, and I only remember having received one raise, and it was like 25 cents. No health benefits, no other incentives to keep me pushing forward and looking forward to going to work. And I have a friend, the same one that's been helping me with all these resumes, and she's like, Tiffany, you got to find out what you, like, really want to do. Like, don't keep job hopping. Don't keep going into jobs that you really don't want because you're not going to ever really feel, like, satisfied. And she told me, she was like, you need to spend a little time trying to figure out what you really want. And it's funny because when I was in junior high, I begged my mom to go to this particular junior high that was a magnet school for technology. I took all these computer classes. I won awards in different computer classes. I loved computers. I loved technology. Once I got in high school, the school I went to, they specialize in cosmetology. No computer classes. I get in college and I'm like this little girl again. Because when I was a little girl, I dreamed of being a painter. And then I went from wanting to be a painter until I wanted to be a writer. But I've always wanted to do something in the creative realm. But I went to college thinking like a little girl, like my dreams can come true. Like I'm going to be on the right path, blah, 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 blah. As time went by in school, I was like, because at the time when I started college, I was a double major of English and film directing because I wanted to write my own scripts. I wanted to produce my own movies. I wanted to be the director. I wanted to be the cameraman. I wanted to be the whole nine. I wanted to be the Jackie of all trades. But I started thinking like, I need to be just a little bit more practical. You probably don't believe me, but I changed my major 7 times. And when I tell you, when I look back, I have one regret for sure about college. I should have went to school for computer science because that's a very lucrative industry. It's in high demand. Technology is the future. Technology is what we are right now. And I probably would have definitely been very, very secure money-wise if I would have went that route. But I went to college being this little girl instead of walking through those halls as a grown woman and thinking about how I envisioned my life after college. That's one regret that I have out of probably 4 or 5 in my life. And it's not that I can't go back to school and get another degree and all that, but I don't have the coin. I use up all of my financial aid. And now I'm in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. And don't even feel that I can even use my degree. And now I'm in a predicament of trying to figure out what's going to happen if things don't fall together in the next couple of weeks. I shouldn't have to be thinking this way at 34. And I'm not trying to say that I'm 34 and my life should just be completely put together, because you can be 54, 64 and life is going to life. It's lifing for all of us now. But I had the 2 jobs to keep myself afloat. I paid my bills. I did what I needed to do. And now I'm praying that God will come in at the nick of time. Bless me with an incredible career opportunity. Bless me with some, even if it's somebody that can bless me to keep myself afloat right now. Because your blessings can come from anywhere. It can be a job opportunity. It can be literally someone who just blesses you with money. I remember a couple of years ago, a matter of fact, maybe about 3 years ago, and I was working with a client that was on his deathbed. And his granddaughter asked me a question. She said, "Tiffany, how much would it be to get your truck window fixed?" Because at the time, my truck window had, I was in the drive-through and trying to roll the window down, and it just shattered. Out of nowhere, it just shattered. And it was like during Christmas time, I just could not afford to get the window fixed. I didn't even know how much it would be. And she was like, Tiffany, how much would it be to get your truck driver window fixed? And I kept telling her, I was like, oh no, don't worry about that. It's I'll take care of it. It's not that big of a deal or whatever, because I had tape over it, clear tape over it. So, but I was kind of knowing like where she was going with it, so I kept telling oh no, I'm gonna take care of it. It's just right now I'm just trying to wait until the holidays pass and all this blah blah blah. And she was like, no, like, seriously, like, how much would it be to get your car window fixed? A couple of days before then, my aunt um had called around to see how much the car window would be, and it was like $235 or something, like, to get the window fixed. I think it was like that was like the cheapest window people or whatever. And so I told her $235. She pulled out her checkbook. She pulled out her checkbook and she started writing this check. But while she's writing the check, she's talking to me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm still in shock. Like, Lord, like, this woman that don't even know me, and this is the first time she ever met me, was when she found out that her grandfather was on his deathbed. And I'm like, Lord, like, this woman that don't even know me is going to bless me to be able to get my window fixed. And I just was like, this is unreal. This is absolutely unreal. So she's writing, and I'm looking at her, and she takes the check, fold it over, and she folded it over, then she folded it up over another time, and she gave it to me. So I grabbed and I said, thank you so much. Like, this is truly a blessing to me. Thank you so much. We keep talking. And all I can think about is I got this check in my hand. This is the money that I need to use specifically for getting the window fixed. She gave me the exact amount for me to get the window fixed, go get the window fixed the next day. And then, just be thanking God that he has angels on earth that are looking out for me. We're talking. And she's talking to me, and I'm opening up the check because I'm just like, just trying to make sure everything looks okay on the check. I don't know why I decided to open it up as she was talking to me. I open it up. This lady gave me enough money for me to pay my bills for the following month. I started hollering. I yelled out. The whole household, it was probably like 30 people there, was startled at my scream. I was yelling and I was crying. Because in my mind, all I kept thinking about as she was talking to me, I was like, I am going to be back pretty much as a free agent, as a caregiver, just trying to figure out who the company was going to send me to next. Sometimes it could take a couple of months for you to finally get a client, your next client. And I was just like worrying in my head, like, God, like, what am I going to do? Like, this man is passing and his granddaughter is blessing me to get this window fixed. And she's worried about me when she should be focused on her grandfather. And I'm like, wow, like, this lady is a child of God. She's just a beautiful spirit. Like, Thank you, God, for people like her. Like, she is so selfless. And then for me to open this check and for me to have more than enough to pay my bills for the next month, that was only God. That was only God. That was only God. And God has showed up in my life before like that. Actually, a few times in my life when I didn't know what was going to happen. And he showed up like right at the very end. Right before I felt like I didn't have nothing else to do. And I feel like God is going to do that this time. He's gonna make miracles happen. And I know, like, since my mom has passed, God has been trying to get me to be patient. I am such an impatient person, but God has been trying to get me to be patient. And I know he's going to come through for me. But what I want y'all to understand is, like, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. He hears our cries. He hears our prayers. He's always with us. And I just remember when I first had lost my second job a few weeks back. And one of my uncles called me, and he asked me, how I'd been doing. And honestly, I didn't want to tell him the truth because I hadn't been telling my family the truth.